This is Revival.
I will sit right here and bide my time, as long as it takes to get what's rightfully mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Revival Arena. Welcome to Revival CAW Wrestling here on YouTube. This is our debut episode. I am Justin Collins, the voice of Revival Wrestling. And tonight we have a jam-packed card for you. And we will determine our first two champions here in Revival. We'll determine the Revival Television Champion and the Revival World Champion. We'll see Corey Graves and Sami Zayn for the Revival World Championship here tonight. Well, it looks like we're going to have Scott Steiner coming down to the ring. Wonder what he has to say. Scott Steiner is one of the most historic wrestlers in all of professional wrestling history, and he is here in Revival to probably look for new people to feast on and new competition. Let's see what Big Papa Pump has to say. He's saying he is going to leave a path of destruction throughout the Revival roster. Well, we know you, the fans, voted in Corey Graves and Sami Zayn to be in the world title match tonight, and he seems to be complaining that he isn't in the main event tonight. He's promising he will be on top tonight. That's big words. Wait a second. This is suicide. That's exactly what we want to see tonight. We want to see Suicide and Scott Steiner face off in the ring for the first match in Revival. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it's going to happen. We have a referee out in the ring, and Suicide is joining Scott Steiner. This is official. Suicide versus Scott Steiner. First match in Revival history. Double knees by Suicide. This man, Suicide, is not much relatively known about him other than he was in Impact Wrestling, and he was a former two-time X Division champion. Big drop kick by Suicide, taking down Scott Steiner. This is a first in wrestling history. Suicide and Scott Steiner going at it here. Suicide, early flurry of offense here against Big Papa Pump, taking down Scott Steiner with the double knees once again. Scott needs to build offense. He's got a side headlock and belly-to-belly suplex by Scott Steiner. Steiner, a multiple-time world heavyweight champion in almost every promotion he has been in. And he is also numerous times over a tag team champion with his brother Scott. This man is no stranger to in-ring competition and no stranger to championship gold. Irish whip by Steiner and catching Suicide with a big belly-to-belly overhead suplex. Steiner livid right now that he is not in the main event to fight for the Revival World Heavyweight Championship, which has been reserved for the rookies pretty much in Corey Graves and Sami Zayn. But Suicide fighting back now. Double knees taking down Steiner once again. Suicide back on the offensive, big drop kick. Steiner has got to get back into this. He cannot let Suicide build this momentum this early. Suicide, amazing head scissors takedown as Steiner is reeling. Suicide's up to the top rope, and Hurricanrana off the top turnbuckle. Suicide, this is what he needs to do. He needs to get the speed on his side. He cannot let Scott Steiner slow the pace down as he's doing right now. Steiner back on the offensive with a front headlock. And now rear chin lock applied. But he's letting Suicide go. And Steiner arm ringer here. Front face lock. Steiner's looking for something big here. And big vertical suplex by Scott Steiner. The one thing Steiner is going to be looking for is that Steiner recliner submission hold, which, if you're locked in that, there's almost no way to get out of it. Steiner lifting Suicide up and strong Irish whip and into the corner. Steiner setting up for something big here. Powerbomb by Scott Steiner. Steiner dragging Suicide to the center of the ring. This crowd is not liking what we're seeing here. 1, 2, kick out at 2 for Suicide. The crowd is firmly on the side of Suicide right now. But this man cannot get any momentum going as we see a big belly to back suplex there. And now cover here. 1, 2, and kick out at 2. Earl Hebner, our referee, counts 2. Suicide back in it again. Double knees. That seems to be the move that's giving him the momentum right now. Side headlock by Suicide. Suicide belly to back suplex, dropping Steiner right on his neck. Suicide needs to build the offense quickly here, but Steiner reverses and goes behind. Punch to the back of the head and big lariat, but Suicide seems unfazed. But the double axe handle takes Suicide down, and now Steiner's just cocky right now. Irish whip here. Scott Steiner sending Suicide into the turnbuckle. And right as soon as Suicide gets out of that turnbuckle area, we see a big German suplex. Steiner looking to finish off Suicide here. He has him up. There's one powerbomb, but he's not letting go. Second powerbomb by Steiner. And rearing in for the third powerbomb. Scott Steiner could be looking to finish off Suicide. Stepping over and pulling it up. Steiner, recliner by Scott Steiner. Suicide has no choice but to tap out. First match of the evening here goes to Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner came down to the ring complaining about how he wasn't in the main event. Suicide wanted to shut him up, but in fact Suicide was the one that got shut up here as Scott Steiner pulls off the victory here on Revival. But up next we have 2 championship matches. We have the Revival Television Championship on the line as we see Disco Inferno go one-on-one with Billy Kidman, and also our main event, we will see Corey Graves and Sami Zayn fight it out to determine the Revival World Champion.
I'm addicted and I like it. The best high that I've ever been on. She got me hooked as her earthquake shook. Now I'm fighting to hang on. She needs a drink and I'm buying. She needs a ride and I'm driving her home. Kisses like cocaine, hits me like a freight train. I can't tell her no. She'll be an angel begging for more. Yeah, she likes it. Grab your fuse and live for the tour. When she likes it. She's a world-class player, guess I'll never learn. She loves me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Revival Call 1 as we have Billy Kidman making his way to the ring. This man is no stranger to championship gold as he has been multiple times Cruiserweight Champion in WCW and in WWE, looking to add the Revival Television Championship to his impressive resume of professional wrestling. But he has strong competition ahead of him as he goes one-on-one with Disco Inferno. But there he is, Billy Kidman. The one move you have to look for from this man is a move that he can just hit out of nowhere and at will, and that's that shooting star press. If he hits you with that, your night is pretty much over. And coming through the crowd, here is Disco Inferno. This man is a very impressive superstar as well. Not many championships to his name, but he's looking for a fresh start here in Revival. And he may have that here if he can defeat Billy Kidman. And what a way to make a debut than by winning a championship in a new company. I mean, both men have chance to make history here tonight by being the very first ever Revival Television champion, just like in the main event tonight. Both Corey Graves and Sami Zayn have the chance to make history by becoming the very first Revival World Champion. But tonight, as you saw earlier, Revival is brought to you by All-Star CAW Wrestling, one of the forefront leaders of CAW Wrestling today. And making his way slowly into the ring, hyping up these fans, is Disco Inferno. Disco Inferno, one of the most charismatic superstars we do have here in Revival CAW Wrestling. This man looking to pick up championship gold, like I've said before. And Earl Hebner is in the ring, and we are about to get this started. There is the Revival Television Championship. This is going to be one impressive match between both Billy Kidman and Disco Inferno. And the time for talk is over. Action kicking off right now. And Disco Inferno, first move made, Irish whip and drop kick to the face of Billy Kidman in the corner. Now choking Kidman with the boot. And Disco Inferno, early flare of offense, but Billy Kidman looking to build an offense of his own. Big super kick by Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman, again, he's been all over the place wrestling-wise, and what a catch and release German suplex by Kidman. This man has been all over the place, CAW wrestling-wise in general, including places like WWE and WCW, where he was a big breakout star in both companies' cruiserweight division. And big counter there by Disco Inferno, dropping down with a neck drop on Billy Kidman. Disco Inferno, no slouch in the ring as he hits a big power slam. One thing you have to look out for Disco Inferno is his devastating variation of the DDT, which he can also break out at any moment, and big hip toss by Disco Inferno. Billy Kidman really needs to mount an offense. He really needs to come back and just pick up the speed, because that's what he's going to need to do to get by someone like Disco Inferno. Disco Inferno has power on his side, especially against someone only running maybe 195 pounds. And Billy Kidman, showing why he is a high flyer, jumping off the ropes in a big tornado DDT, and only a 2 count by Earl Hebner for Billy Kidman. Now Disco Inferno in the corner. Kidman run by drop kick and delivering a second one to the abdomen of Disco Inferno. Disco Inferno front face lock now, trying to get the match back into his favor and just plowing down Kidman with that big clothesline. Disco Inferno Irish whip and big hip toss once again. Disco Inferno has really been going to that hip toss throughout this match, and he's looking, what a suplex, but he is looking, looks like, to wear down the back and legs of Billy Kidman, which is a smart strategy if you ask me. He's setting Kidman up to the top turnbuckle. Kidman countering here. Kidman countering, missile drop kick, but sidestepped by Disco Inferno. Kidman trying to pull out all the high-flying stops, but it just does not seem to be working against Disco Inferno, as we see a float over facebuster cover. 1, 2, and kick out at the last second by Billy Kidman. Irish whip by Inferno, and reversal here by Kidman, as we see a big head scissors takedown by Kidman, and Inferno rolling outside the ring. Wait a second, Shooting star splash off the top rope onto the outside on Disco Inferno by Kidman. Kidman is now back in the driver's seat in this television title bout. Leg drop on the side of the apron. This could be close to ending for Disco Inferno. Disco Inferno, front face lock, and pulling off a great delay suplex. Inferno going to the top turnbuckle, and senton splash connecting by Disco Inferno. We got a cover here. Earl Hebner counting 1, 2, kick out at 2 by Billy Kidman. This match 100 miles an hour, and especially someone like Disco Inferno keeping up the pace here. Kidman up to the top rope. Shooting star press, but double knees and a counter by Disco Inferno. Inferno, wait a second. There it is, that DDT by Disco Inferno. And we got a cover here. Earl Hebner in 1, 2, 3. Disco Inferno picking up the victory over Billy Kidman for the Revival Television Championship. And it looked like Billy Kidman was going to have the match all to himself after that shooting star press, but one quick counter by Disco Inferno and planting him with that DDT is what sealed the fate for Billy Kidman. Brand new television champion here tonight in Disco Inferno. Well, up next we do have our main event. We're going to see Sami Zayn go one-on-one with Corey Graves for the Revival World Heavyweight Championship. And speaking of which, we hear the music, and Corey Graves is not far behind. There he is. This is Corey Graves. We are setting up, ladies and gentlemen, for our main event of the evening. It's going to be this man, Corey Graves, going up against Sami Zayn. Both men are relatively new to the business, but Sami Zayn has the experience factor over Corey Graves, being a former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion and a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion, looking to step up to the big times and become a World Heavyweight Champion here in Revival CAW Wrestling. And Sami Zayn, or Corey Graves, looks like he's got a microphone. He's saying the fans made a big mistake by putting him in this situation. What can he mean by that? How dare Corey Graves call the fans here of Revival degenerate pricks? Well, we'll be right back after this commercial break with the World Championship match. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Revival CAW 1. This is our main event. Corey Graves already at ringside. And here is Sami Zayn. This is World Championship main event time. This will determine the very first Revival CAW World Champion. And both men have relatively no experience, but Sami Zayn has the experience factor in championship-wise, as he's been around the indie scene for a little bit now. Earl Hebner will be the referee for this main event as well. Senior referee Earl Hebner, who works for Impact Wrestling, also signed an exclusive contract with Revival CAW Wrestling. Sami Zayn pumped up right now as he's looking for world title gold here. And we're gonna be expecting nothing but the best from both Corey Graves and Sami Zayn. Hebner showing off the Revival World Championship. And this match is about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Graves, Sami Zayn, Revival World Championship as voted by you, the fans. Here we go. And Corey Graves starting it off, big spinning neckbreaker, and the crowd already hates this man. Reversal here by Sami Zayn, and Zayn swinging neckbreaker by Sami Zayn. This is what the crowd wants to see right here, ladies and gentlemen. Sami Zayn taking advantage and taking down Corey Graves. Now, these men have traveled the world together in WWE NXT, but now Revival CAW here, they're now bitter enemies, it looks like, going up for one purpose, going against each other for one purpose, and that's for the Revival CAW Wrestling Championship. And Corey Graves back on the offensive, but Sami Zayn reverses into a side headlock and slamming Corey Graves down to the ground. Sami Zayn, great running calf kick here. Both men have the speed factor here. That is what both men need to really utilize, is their speed, and we see Sami Zayn floating with a head scissors arm drag. Front face lock now by Corey Graves and slamming Sami Zayn's face right down into the mat, and the crowd still showing their disdain for Corey Graves. Graves firmly in control of this match now, and he's got that leg LDT that has to be working solely on the knee of Sami Zayn. Irish whip and big drop kick planting right in the face of Sami Zayn. Corey Graves and Sami Zayn locking up here. Zayn getting the best of it, front face lock, and he's got him a big backbreaker by Sami Zayn. Corey Graves gets nailed with a big drop kick as well here. Sami Zayn, big disaster kick. He is building up offense, and that's one thing you do not want to let this man do. You do not want to let Sami Zayn build up any offense. Missile drop kick to the outside of the ring. Sami Zayn putting his body on the line, and both men are down on the outside of the ring. Both men back up, and Zayn, Irish whip, and on the offensive here, once again against Corey Graves. Sami Zayn has the desire and the hunger in his eyes to try to win this championship, but Corey Graves throwing Zayn back into the ring, and now on the offensive with a corkscrew neckbreaker. Where's Corey Graves going up to the top rope, and big missile drop kick taking down Sami Zayn. High-paced back and forth action between Corey Graves and Sami Zayn, ladies and gentlemen. But what we heard from Scott Steiner at the end of the night was that he will be on top after everything is said and done. Will that mean an interference from Scott Steiner, or will this match actually play out fairly as we see Sami Zayn wrenching the arm and a great calf kick taking down Corey Graves? It'd be a shame to see something like this match go to waste because of someone with an ego like Scott Steiner. Covered here by Zayn, 1, 2, and a kick out at 2 by Corey Graves. Sami Zayn taking down Graves once again with another amazing drop kick. Cover, 1, 2, and kick out at 2 again for Corey Graves. Both men equally impressive right now in this debut World Championship bout here on Revival. And big clothesline takedown, and Corey Graves back up to the top rope, dropping the fist right onto the forehead of Sami Zayn. Graves, amazing maneuver by Corey Graves. Cover here by Graves, 1, 2, kick out at 2 by Sami Zayn. And big clothesline takedown by Corey Graves. This man pulling out all the stops right now and dropping the neck down of Sami Zayn and Corey Graves up to the top rope, dropping the elbow, but Zayn moves out of the way, and it looks like Zayn has something planned here. Big clothesline, a second clothesline running through the ropes, and big calf kick. Great comeback here from Sami Zayn. What is Zayn doing? What? A scoop driver by Sami Zayn. Zayn up to the top rope, and moonsault at its finest, landing directly on Corey Graves. We got to cover. 1, 2, and a kick out at 2 by Corey Graves. Side headlock now. This match is all in the favor of Sami Zayn with a second brain buster by Zayn. That could be the ending here. Cover. 1, 2, and kick out at 2 by Corey Graves. What will it take to keep Corey Graves down? Sami Zayn, big tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Pulling out all the stops here. Cover again. 1, 2, and kick out at 2 once again by Corey Graves. Both men locking up here. And Graves now getting the best of the exchange. Backbreaker into a great neckbreaker by Corey Graves. Corey Graves just letting his temper get the best of him, smashing Zayn's head into the mat. Irish whip by Corey Graves. And reversal here by Sami Zayn, rolling up into a pin. 1, 2, and kick out at 2 though by Corey Graves. Corey Graves seems hurt here. And wait a second, roll up counter here. 1, 2, and kick out at 2 by Sami Zayn. Corey Graves on the offensive once again, up to the top rope. And dropping the fist right across the throat of Sami Zayn. And it looks like Corey Graves is calling for something big here. He has him. And what do we see here? Small package driver by Corey Graves. We going for the cover. 1, 2, and kick out at 2 by Sami Zayn. Both men feeling the effects of this match, as both men's heads have to be reeling right now. As you see Corey Graves holding his head right now. And tilt-a-whirl neckbreaker by Graves. We got a cover here. 1, 2, and kick out at 2 by Sami Zayn. Calling elbow tie up Zayn and Graves. Zayn getting the best of it right here. Has him up, and big backbreaker by Sami Zayn. He's outside. Could he be catapulted? And big splash by Sami Zayn. Zayn looking for that scoop driver one last time, and drops Corey Graves there. And he's not going for the pin. Not a wise move here by Sami Zayn. Big tilt-a-whirl backbreaker by Zayn though. And now Irish whip. Zayn setting up for something in the corner. Setting up to the top turnbuckle. And what is Sami Zayn thinking about here? Could this be a superplex? He's got him up. Oh my God, brainbuster onto the top turnbuckle. This has to be it. 1, 2, and at the last second, Corey Graves gets the shoulder up. Graves back, belly to back suplex here. Corey Graves, that had to have put him away, but for some reason, some way, he found a way to kick out. And now, that small package driver once again into a pin. 1, 2, 3. Corey Graves is our very first Revival Claw Wrestling World Champion. What an amazing match between Sami Zayn and Corey Graves. I thought it was over after that big brainbuster onto the top turnbuckle by Sami Zayn, but somehow in some way Corey Graves found a way to kick out and hit that small package driver. Your winner and very first Revival Claw Wrestling World Champion. This is the Anarchist, Corey Graves. And Scott Steiner earlier tonight said that he would end up on top one way or another tonight, but it looks like the only man on top right now is our new Revival World Champion, Corey Graves. An amazing night of wrestling here for Revival. Wait a second, that's the music of Scott Steiner, and he's here at ringside. What will this mean for Corey Graves going into next week? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining, and good night.